So Jonathan, I was thinking, in honor of Thomas Jefferson's birthday, we should steal the Declaration of Independence.
Sure.
I saw Nicolas Cage do it, and if he can do it, anybody can do it.
We can do it better.
Fact.
That's what I tell people whenever they ask, how did we get all this stuff? It's like, national treasure. It's actually based off of...
We just
Based off
acquire it, yeah. We took this pipe and solved the riddle, and it was a key, and we found the treasure.
Actually, whenever we buy and receive new documents, we always douse it with lemon juice.
Yes,
and
if we don't have the oven prepped.
Exactly.
Right, what we would have to do. Oh, hey, welcome to another episode of One Room Schoolhouse.
Hey everyone, welcome to another day of One Room Schoolhouse. Now today is actually a very special day.
Special day?
Yeah, do you know why it's special, Tim?
Why is it special, Jonathan?
It's a special day because this day is actually the day that Thomas Jefferson was born. So it's Thomas Jefferson's birthday.
Happy birthday, Thomas! Yay!
Yeah, to you out there, buddy. I know you're listening. So obviously Thomas Jefferson is a massively important founding father, but he's also probably the most kind of attacked founding father out of, and I mean, that's a heated competition these days, but I think Jefferson still probably takes the cake.
Yeah, he's probably the most misunderstood founding father, which allows him to be the most attacked, whether it be because of slavery. I guess slavery is probably the biggest one, but you can go down the list of a lot of accusations that come against him, whether it be with faith or like the Bible. He cut out things in the Bible he didn't believe in. This is actually one of the things that led to that accusation of him cutting out things in the Bible he didn't believe with. This was a life and morals of Jesus, and you can see it says morals of Jesus here on the back. This was something that was actually printed for U.S. congressmen. 5,000 were originally printed. They were given out to every single freshman congressman when they were elected to Congress. And the reason was that the Smithsonian had only a couple years prior acquired this Bible, so to speak. It actually was a portfolio kind of book, but it had different pages of the Bible that had been taped in this portfolio. And Jefferson said that he had studied it every night before he went to bed, and it was the moral teachings of Jesus. And a congressman saw the Smithsonian got it and said, man, wouldn't it be so cool if we could get every freshman congressman to study the life and morals of Jesus, just like Jefferson did? That would be a great thing to help all of Congress. It would help the nation if people actually lived more like Jesus. So they made an effort and were actually able to print 5,000 of these copies of Jefferson's life and morals of Jesus. This became known as a Jefferson Bible. And then people said, well, the reason it only had like the teachings, the life and morals of Jesus is because Jefferson cut out everything in the Bible he didn't agree with or didn't believe in. And of course, it's really silly to take something that somebody did when you discount the reason they said they did it, and then you pretend like you know what they did, even though it's not what they said what they did. This is where Jefferson's become very maligned from a lot of bad history, a lot of misinformation. And even if we go back to the Declaration of Independence, when people claim that Jefferson was pro-slavery.
And to clarify, this is not the original draft of the Declaration of Independence.
For his birthday, we actually snuck in. And no, we didn't. We didn't steal anything. We didn't Nicolas Cage it, right? That's actually one of our favorite movies to joke about is National Treasure because it's really bad history, but it's history and it's kind of fun.
But it's super fun.
It is super fun. So when you look at the Declaration of Independence, Jefferson was the primary author of the Declaration of Independence, and today people say, well, right, when Jefferson said that all men are created equal, he didn't really mean all men. He meant only like rich white men because he was against black people and he had slaves and he's a really bad guy. You only can make those claims if you don't know actual history.
Or if you haven't even read the original document itself. So Thomas Jefferson actually wrote a first draft to it that's a little bit different than what we have today. And you can actually read that. You can read that in the collected works of Thomas Jefferson. And what you'll find is that Jefferson actually provides kind of a definition of exactly what he means when he says men, and Out of all the grievances that are included in this first draft, the longest one by a substantial margin is actually a grievance where Jefferson is attacking the King of England for supporting and continuing the slave trade. Because at that time in American history, the colonies had actually developed a long-standing, almost tradition, a habit of attacking the slave trade, trying to stop it, trying to pass laws to restrict it, to regulate it into non-existence. And every time the king had vetoed and stopped those, and so Jefferson is attacking the king for doing that. And in it, he says the king has kept open a market where men, in all caps, he writes, men are bought and sold, talking about the African slaves. So Jefferson, in the very same document, gives you a definition. He does indeed mean all men.
Right, and on top of the fact, in 1807, Jefferson, as president, becomes the first president to sign a law banning the slave trade. He's the first major national leader to sign a law banning the slave trade. So Jefferson is very different than what much history about him reports today. In fact, many years ago, we did a book called The Jefferson Lies. My dad was the primary author of that, and it goes through the 7 most common historical myths or lies about Thomas Jefferson. And actually goes back to Jefferson's own writings, to people that knew Thomas Jefferson, that document him well, to explain that those things are simply not true, and it's pretty easy historically to show the inaccuracies of many of the claims today. So, in honor of Thomas Jefferson's birthday, we want to tell you, if you haven't read the Declaration, go back and read the Declaration, figure out why Jefferson was considered one of the most significant leaders in American history, with what he did in the Declaration being one of the most significant contributions of any American at all. Major things happened from the life of Thomas Jefferson. Again, if you want to find out more, you can go to WallBuilders.com. You can get the Jefferson Lies and learn more about Thomas Jefferson. Although he is attacked and condemned today in many outlets, he really is a great American hero. He wasn't perfect. He definitely made mistakes. He definitely, we would argue, was a sinner who needed a savior, because we're Christians. We believe in Jesus. We believe everybody is a sinner who needs a savior. Nobody's perfect, which is why Jesus came. With all that being said, Thomas Jefferson is certainly not guilty of most of what he's accused of today. And on his birthday, we're really grateful for someone like Thomas Jefferson, who was such a great leader in so many areas and wrote one of the most exceptional documents in the history of the world, the Declaration of Independence. If you've never read it, go and read it. And if you've already read it, go read it again. And just a final close, Jonathan, what should we say on Thomas Jefferson's birthday?
Happy birthday, dude.
We'll see you next time on One Room Schoolhouse.